You're listening to Mr. Credit on San Diego 1700 with local credit expert Derek Evans. Now, live in studio, Mr. Credit.
Welcome to Mr. Credit. We are live and local here in San Diego, Sorrento Valley, bringing you the most important hour in radio and telling you everything they don't want you to know. When we say they, we mean the media, the credit bureaus, the big banks, big government in some cases, and the Wall Street gangsters, or anyone else who's trying to mislead you so that they can get the hard-earned money out of your wallet. Remember, you can go to just visit MrCreditRadio.com if you want to send me an email. I will get to a couple emails today, I promise. Or you can do a Facebook search for Mr. Credit, and you will find me there. All-Star break for the Padres. Remember, you can catch all of the Padres games right here on San Diego 1700, so save the station in your dial. We don't have a game until tomorrow, 7 p.m. versus Arizona downtown at Petco Park, but we already have 51 wins at the All-Star break. So if you aren't on the bandwagon yet, get on now, because we're going to make a run. There is no doubt about it. Young team, we won't trail off. I can pretty much guarantee you that. So here we go. Let's jump right into a couple things. I wanted to get to some stories, and I wanted to get to some emails today because I've been doing very bad about it. I want to talk about the CARD Act and some of these things that, you know, they're designed to protect. I mean, the idea is, or what you're being told is that these things are there to protect you.
I want the truth!
Truth is, in most cases, it's just another step or hurdle that the big banks have to get around in order to get what they ultimately want, which is your. So, the first thing I want to do here is talk about a story that was coming out of Fox. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about loan modifications first, because this is something I just continue to get a lot of inquiries about. And folks, let me tell you something. There's no magic bullet here. It doesn't matter if you find someone like me who you know cares about you and your family and will give you the best advice I can. It doesn't matter. The loan modification thing is just very, very difficult. Okay, it's just very, very difficult. It's not happening unless you are a perfect fit. All right, you're not getting your loan modified. Think about it. Let's think about it. You have a mortgage payment. You have a note that you signed for your mortgage, and it's for a 30-year period, let's say. What incentive does the bank have to give you a lower payment? Well, people say, well, then I'll keep making my payment and I'll stay with the home. But for how long? See, remember, the banks are only thinking about money. They don't care about you. They're not worried about your family. They're not worried about anything other than the bottom line. Now, what they have found, because we've got a few years of this now, they have found that if they do modify your loan, the majority of the time, you still stop paying them eventually. That's what they found. That's what the studies show, that you will eventually stop paying again. So why go through all the work, all the paperwork, have all those employees in place, and then end up just defaulting anyway? That's what they found. So what they try to do is they try to keep the foreclosure off the books as long as possible by using this loan mod dream. Okay, it's a dream. They're using the loan mod dream to keep you in the house, to keep that bad loan, as it's called once you go late, off of their books. Because once they have to foreclose on the home, then they actually have to use that and write it up in their accounting and report it. These big banks are publicly traded companies. They have to report it to the public. They have to tell you, hey, we're in the hole. But they don't want to, because they got the free-flowing money from the government. They're taking that hand over fist and then using that to go make other money. So that, when you have a company that's as big as a big bank, a Bank of America, a Chase, a Wells Fargo, they have multiple different companies within their big umbrella of companies. And some of those smaller companies within their company are doing extremely well with the free money from the government. Some of the other ones, like the mortgage end, for example, is not doing so good. But the loan mod dream is something that they're only selling to you. It's just not real. We know that only 7% of loan modifications get approved, and a quarter of those are for higher payments. So there was something that actually came out, and I have an email that I'm going to read along these lines as well. And this story is interesting. It says lawmakers, so you're thinking Congress when you see lawmakers, right? Slam top mortgage firms on loan mods. Now, this has been a couple of weeks. The 4 largest mortgage lenders in the United States were grilled on Capitol Hill a couple of weeks ago about the limited number of home loans they have modified for homeowners facing foreclosure. Interesting. So it actually got so far that the 2 people in Congress who actually care about you were able to bring it to the forefront, and the numbers were so bad that they couldn't be ignored. That tells you how significant it is. I mean, if it was anything that could possibly be swept under the rug, it would have been. But this is how bad it is. Listen to this. Quote, I just wonder how hard you are really trying. This is Dennis Kucinich. He asked David Lohman this, who's the CEO of home lending at J.P. Morgan Chase. Lohman said J.P. Morgan had been understaffed to handle the demand from struggling homeowners seeking to restructure payments, though they have added staff in recent months. Why are you denying loan modifications to my constituents? Kucinich, who's an Ohio Democrat, asked Lohman, calling J.P. Morgan Chase uncooperative with borrowers. Ohio has been one of the hardest hit states in the U.S. Home foreclosure crisis, so obviously Kucinich has something there to bring to his constituency. Now, the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee also summoned chief executives of home lending units at Bank of America, Citigroup, and Wells Fargo to answer questions about their modification practices. The problem is, in the end, this is all just grandstanding. They're not getting anything done. This is more posturing, and it's a political move. Kucinich, hey, I appreciate you saying the words. I appreciate you going out there and actually making it known. Hey, this is pathetic. This is a pathetic attempt that's being made. It's not even an attempt. It's a mirage. It's not real. They are just simply selling this dream only to say, oops, oh, sorry. You don't quite fit into the box. But I'm also sorry that you're now 4, 5, 6 months behind on your mortgage because you thought you were going to, hit the jackpot. Sorry about that. Sorry your credit's ruined. Sorry that you'll never catch up on your mortgage payments. Don't know what to tell you now. And that is what is happening right now. It's horrible. Listen to this email from Jules in Chula Vista. Mr. Credit, I'm in one of those really bad spots with my mortgage. We were told by the bank we had to miss the payments to get our loan modified. Oh, my goodness. Remember, folks, if anyone ever tells you to miss a payment for any reason, you should not listen to them. All right? Unless you don't have to pay something. For example, let's say you're filing Chapter 7 bankruptcy and you aren't going to owe that obligation, then you don't make the payment, obviously. But when you have an obligation that you know you're going to owe, you have to make the payment if you can. If you don't, you're just going to blast your own credit score. Which is going to make, your financial life and your financial future tough in the coming months and maybe even years, depending on how bad it gets. So he was told by the bank they had to miss payments. Oh my gosh, here we go. At the time, we could make the payments, just barely, but we were making them. Now we're behind 6 months worth, and I don't see any way we can catch up. How do we keep our home? I messed this up so bad, and I don't want my family to suffer from my mistake. Jules, first of all, I'm going to commend you on owning up. Something you don't see happen often enough these days. Everyone wants to take the blame and push it somewhere else. He's admitting that he was sold, that he bought into this, he rolled the dice, and he realized now that it wasn't worth the dice roll. Now, if you were in a situation where you couldn't make the payments, different deal. But he's telling me he could make the payments, but the idea of not making them sounded too good to get a lower payment down the road. A lot of people fall into this trap. Remember, it's a trap. The bank has set the trap. You will get into it, and once it closes, bad stuff happens. So how do you keep your home? That's the question here. How do you keep your home? You're behind on your payments. Your loan modification doesn't go through. What do you do? Well, there's a couple things you can do. First of all, the number one thing that makes sense in this situation is to look at a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. You can also look at Chapter 13, which will allow you to catch up on the home payments over time. But the Chapter 7 is my favorite because it's quick, only lasts about 100 days. You can wipe out all of your unsecured debts, so other debts like credit cards, collections, medical bills, judgments, things like that you have going on. Sometimes even IRS tax debt. It's pretty crazy. Now, if you wipe out all that other stuff, that gives you a better chance to catch up on your mortgage. Okay? Also, it can at least stave off the foreclosure process for a few months. So, if nothing else, you can get rid of all that debt and give yourself a few months in the home for free while you figure out what the next move is. Now, the only person I recommend for Chapter 7 or any bankruptcy-related questions in Southern California is William McDonald with the McDonald Legal Group. Remember, he has why. He has purpose. He cares about you, and that's why I recommend him. He didn't seek me. I sought him, okay? That's how good he is. He didn't come to me and say, hey, I want to advertise on your show. No. I work with him. I have experience with him. My clients love him, and that's why I recommend him to you. Call William McDonald today, 858-437-9999. 0103.